All right, to my folks that like to drink Starbucks, are you familiar with their practices these days as how they're formulating your drinks and what type of ingredients are going in them? If not, you about to find out. But first, like it before you light it, hit the sub before you hit the bud, join the team before you hit the green, and don't forget to hype me up.
Oh my God!
A Starbucks retail employee was terminated by the company for revealing behind-the-scenes information regarding the ingredients of the brand's new beverage lineup. The employee disclosed that many of Starbucks' newly released drinks are not crafted solely with fresh raw materials. A proprietary blended powder is added during preparation. This powder primarily contains common food ingredients, such as gum arabic, maltodextrin, and xanthan gum. These ingredients serve to stabilize the texture of drinks, prevent liquid separation, create a creamier mouthfeel, guarantee uniform taste across servings, and boost beverage making efficiency in stores. Starbucks dismissed the employee right after they made these potential issues public. All components in the blended powder are approved food additives compliant with national food consumption standards. Even so, Starbucks has not proactively released detailed ingredient lists of its new drinks to customers, leading to insufficient ingredient transparency.
Yeah, that is wild. Corporations can do anything in this country. They run the show, not the government. The corporations do. After watching this, people will still go to Starbucks, laugh out loud. If Starbucks doesn't disclose this ingredient, that means it's not good for consumption. If an ingredient is good for consumption, they publish it in their ads to say they care about the customers, only provide healthy ingredients. If the person got fired for exposing this ingredient, it means they didn't want the public to know. Exactly. It ain't like giving up the 11 herbs and spices for the Kentucky Fried Chicken recipe because somebody won't, recreate it. Nah, it ain't that type of thing. This is, hey, this might kill you. We don't want you to know.
Okay, guys, so this is me and Lori. We're gonna be testing out the blending powder because, as you guys know, it's toxic.
Bro, you're gonna get cancer.
She said we're gonna die of cancer, y'all. What the hell even is that?
It's so bad.
Okay, now record the guys, this is what y'all are eating whenever y'all get. Okay, guys, so
That is gross. It just looked like goo. Looks like the stuff they used to use in the Nickelodeon videos without the green color. Yuck.
Quick question. Do you know the ingredients for the pink drink?
It's just gonna be strawberry acai and then coconut milk and dried strawberry mixes.
Okay, thank you. Well, as you heard, she said the ingredients were strawberries, freeze-dried strawberries, and coconut milk. But if we take a closer look here, gellan gum, corn dextrin, guar gum, guys, those are all inflammatory ingredients. You do not want to be eating those. They will inflame your gut and cause inflammation. So be careful when you're going to Starbucks. And if you're going to drink this at all, make sure it's in severe moderate.
They put all of that kind of stuff in diet drinks, Diet Coke. Man, chemicals are in everything at this point.
Starbucks just changed your drink and didn't really tell you. I'm Irene, your mineral educator with Psychology Brain. It started on July 14th. Starbucks quietly rolled out something called blending powder. And they put it in their lemonades. So if you've ordered any of those lemonades, like refreshers, you've had it, whether you knew it or not. So what's actually in it? Well, there's a list. I think it's easier for me if I just post something so you can read it, that if I pronounce it myself. That's it. Well, as you see, that's not coffee, that's not tea. It's basically a lab-made mix that they're adding to your drink, so the drink doesn't separate and it looks perfectly blended. So it stays looking great, so you can post pictures and post on Instagram. Now Starbucks says that the silica is food grade, which for the consumer, that's the least they can do, otherwise you would be poisoned. But silica, it can be a concern if you breathe it. So those making the mixes can be affected by this. They also said that it's FDA approved, but just so you know, nowadays FDA approved doesn't mean that it's risk-free. So now it's their own baristas through their union saying that the powder, it's floating up in the air, And while they're just doing the mixes, obviously they're getting affected because this is a shift by shift thing. Like I said, being safe for your stomach doesn't mean that it's safe for your lungs. I'm just sharing this information. Now you know what you could be exposed to if you consume Starbucks products. You can make your own decisions. This is like your informed consent thing about this. If you're interested in things...
Yeah, bro. The FDA don't mean nothing. And if it isn't FDA approved, it might actually work. I'm just saying, I look at all of these herbs and things that I see on Instagram that they're putting in front of me and they're never FDA approved. And now I'm starting to look at that kind of stuff in a different light. That might be what we need. Do it at your own risk, though.
You know, Starbucks got busted by some employees. Let's pull it up.
Okay, guys, so this is me and Lori. We're going to be testing out the blending powder because as you guys know, it's toxic. Stinks so bad.
It was making a weird sound when they're blending it.
It was clanking.
It was clinking. So they have something called silicon dioxide in these drinks. So silicon dioxide is actually dust, like sand, and like quartz dust, like rock dust that you would find at a construction site. But the FDA says it's safe for human consumption on a very small level.
I wonder how much it costs Starbucks to get the FDA to say that.
Then I was like, well, if that's true, you know how many recalls that they have? Because they say, oh, something's safe. And then later on, it's actually not safe.
There was another recall on bacon.
Let's pull it up. More than 12,000 pounds of Canadian bacon recalled after USDA issues grave alert.
What did they say was wrong with the bacon, though?
It says here, 12,000 pounds of pork product from Canada has been recalled after federal regulators slapped it with their highest risk alert. This is why I don't even mess with bacon in the first place. It has parasites. You're eating whatever the pig is eating.
Did you see the spider inside of the fortune cookie at Panda Express?
Oh, hell no. What?
Y'all didn't catch this? I had to see if it was AI at first, and it's not AI. So I'm like, did they put that spider in there somehow? But it looks like it's air sealed.
Yeah, it looks sealed. I don't know. But again, with all these recalls and what's in our food supply, these are trusted brands. We're talking about Starbucks. It's a multi-billion-dollar, multinational company, and they're putting silicon dioxide. Now, here's the thing. I did a video where I went to the market and I showed people where they throw around the name organic, because they had this organic mac and cheese. And I looked at the box, picked it up, scanned it, and it says it has silicon dioxide. How is it that they have that in there, sand, dust, and it's organic? Unless they're taking it literal, like, yeah, rocks and sand can be organic.
Shit, we're gonna scoop this dust up. I'm trying to understand this shit.
How can macaroni be organic and sit out on the shelf, like, and not go bad? You know, that's kind of wild to me, bro. If it doesn't deteriorate and decompose, how can it be organic? They put these preservatives in there so that they can have it, you know, increase the shelf life.
These fast food restaurants do not have our best interests in hand. I keep warning y'all, but y'all don't want to listen. So they're saying that Starbucks is putting an ingredient in their drinks called silica, and it's making a lot of people sick. You even have Starbucks workers making videos showing you this new blending powder, and they're saying it's toxic, but you don't believe me, right?
To the Starbucks employees that are currently concerned about your blending powder, I just want to let you know that as a chemist and somebody who has worked in like safety related fields for a very long time, I'm thinking probably over 15 years at this point, I just want to let you know that I have had experience working with powders in large quantities like silicone dioxide, and what their response to you was not good. I do want you guys to very explicitly ask them for an SDS of the component that is mixed into that blend that is of concern. And huge, do not ask them for particle size. Ask them for particle size distribution. Particle size distribution, like if you just ask for particle size, they can just give you the average particle size. So you could have particles that are way too small, but you got some really big ones, because from what I've read, that powder is amorphous. Amorphous meaning like they're not all uniform little particles, like they're all different sizes, right? Which amorphous is considered safer for inhalation because it's less biologically active. But also, that means your particles are of different sizes. So if they give you the average particle size, it may be an acceptable particle size. But if they give you the distribution, and any part of the distribution is at a size that is not acceptable, that is a very, very different thing. Because
so in other words, if y'all know what a bell curve is, it does this, and it right in the middle at the top, that would be what the median or whatever. But you have the extremes on each side. On the left, you would have what I would assume the smallest of the smallest particles. And on the far right end, you would have the biggest of the biggest particles. And what she's trying to get you to do is ask on that big side, what is the distribution? Like how much of those big ass particles are mixed within the, you know, the overall particles? That number could be huge, right? You could have like the average size being X, but you can have a great deal of particles that are 2x, 3x, 4x along that distribution curve. So, man, I hope that made sense to y'all.
Average can be acceptable and distribution size cannot be. So please ask for that.
That's wild.
As you guys can see, I'm at the Bucks, right? I just dropped a bowl of silica powder on the ground. And they're not joking. My chest feels tight. Get that shit out of here.
Y'all hear the people in the background coughing?
Like seriously, I'm actually scared, because what the fuck?
How it feels knowing Starbucks uses the blending powder. Look at all of that. You breathing that in. Dog. There's no way possible you're not breathing that in. There's no way. Yeah, y'all cooked if y'all been drinking Starbucks, man. Stick a fork in you, you're done. Look like hives to me. That's
Disclaimer that I'm not currently working at Starbucks, but I did 4 years ago. I believe Starbucks formulated the silica death blending powder so that the blended refreshers would not separate as much, which is absolutely ridiculous because it's a blended ice drink. It's going to separate and it's going to melt. But this is all going back to Starbucks being fast food and us not opening our eyes and realizing this fact. Have you noticed that anytime you get a drink from Starbucks, whether it's a pink drink, whether it's a latte, whether it's a refresher, whether it's blended, these drinks separate and look undrinkable if you don't drink them within like 30 minutes? Because that's the thing about fast food. When you go to Taco Bell, when you go to McDonald's, when you go to Wendy's, if you don't eat those items you get within like 10 to 15 minutes, they become damn near inedible. You get the food fast and you need to eat it fast because it's not really food, the way that these big food companies are selling them. They're more bioengineered food-like products, which is exactly why instead of using the sugar syrup water that Starbucks already had to make the blended refreshers and keep them somewhat together, they produced glass shard throat lung killing powder for their baristas to inhale while they make you your blended mango dragon fruit refresher. Would now be a good time to boycott, or are you gonna wait until they put arsenic in the drinks?
So how does Starbucks respond to reports that baristas are feeling sick after using the new silica-based blending powder? They dodged the issue entirely. To run it back, Starbucks introduced new drinks that require a blending powder that's raising concerns. Since it was introduced, videos using the powder have gone viral. Hundreds of baristas shared their bad experiences, and our union inquired with the company about what our members have reported. This week, Starbucks responded with a blog post on their website that is a whole 2 sentences long. The blog post is comically short and doesn't directly address any of our concerns. By its nature, the silica-based powder is near impossible to avoid inhaling when we're on shift. While they claim it's safe to use in food, they don't say a single word about whether it's safe to inhale. Here's what's really telling about this. Starbucks sent out an update to stores and avoided mentioning the coughing, the irritation, and even hives that baristas are experiencing and reporting. Instead, the company simply tells us to pour slower when handling it, with a cute message that says the powder gets messy. Mind you, we're also being told to make drinks in 4 minutes, and often dealing with understaffed stores where moving slower means delays and unhappy customers. So move slower, but also move faster. Make it make sense. What's really messy is the Starbucks executives who are focused on gimmicks and profits, not on listening to baristas about what our stores need to actually succeed. We're dealing with chaotic schedules, low pay that hasn't kept up with inflation, and benefits that are harder and harder to access. And once again, this message doesn't say anything about inhaling it. You'd think if it was safe to inhale, they would just say it. Starbucks this week
They can't just say it, bro. They're going to be legally liable because they said it. They ain't that dumb.
Is not it. Our union won't let this be swept under the rug. We've already formally requested vital safety information and demanded to bargain over the change. As a union, we have the power to hold this company accountable and make sure they're not putting any partner's safety at risk just to drive profit. If you're a customer, don't shop at Starbucks until the company finalizes a union contract with pay, staffing, and protections that we need. And if you're a Starbucks partner, there's truly never been a better time to organize your store.
So there is a real concern with this, and it actually is confirmed right here. One of the main things in this is silica. That's silicon dioxide, and it's used as an anti-caking agent. It prevents the clumping, but it's being used in this blending powder. Inhalation is a real issue. The fine silicone dust can become airborne as a powder when it's scooped, and repeated inhalation of certain forms of silica is linked to serious lung conditions. So this would back up what the baristas are experiencing. They breathe this stuff in and they're coughing, they get headaches. It's not good. Here are some of the other controversies with a lot of this ingredients in this blending powder. This is not something we should be eating. This is not something we should be drinking. Our food is a science experiment, and this has to stop. This is not healthy.
So can you say that you're really surprised?
The union just demanded to bargain and get more information from Starbucks over their new silica-based powder. Our union just demanded to bargain and get more information from Starbucks over their new silica-based powder, including a demand for the OSHA required safety data sheet. So I'm going to explain to you what all of this means and how this might be impacting the health of Starbucks baristas. So last week, Starbucks launched this new ingredient that baristas have claimed made them sick. While the blending powder ingredient is listed as food safe, it tends to become airborne. So whenever we empty the contents of this package into a container to put on cold bar and we're scooping this powder into the blender, a big cloud of dust gets inhaled by us when we handle this to make these drinks. We've gotten comments where partners have said they've gotten headaches, sore throats, coughing fits, and even hives. On top of this, in-store Starbucks AI system tells baristas to avoid breathing dust as inhalation may cause irritation to the respiratory tract. Even though there were no warnings about this on the blending powder packaging, and the company isn't training us on how to safely handle this powder. That's why having a union in your store means that we have the power to hold the company accountable. Things like this shouldn't happen. Starbucks is legally obligated to bargain with union baristas about the changes that impact our working conditions. Starbucks keeps adding all kinds of things to our job, and this is so much bigger than the blending powder. We need a say in our workplace conditions, hours, pay, and other protections. So we'll keep you posted on what happens with our demand and what further steps we're going to make sure that every union partner feels safe on the job. If you have questions, whether you're a union barista or you're at a not yet union store, hit the link in our bio and get connected with an organizer who can answer questions that you might have.
Hey man, listen, this page is called SB Workers United, bro. Chances are some of y'all who watch this video or come across this video, y'all either may work there or y'all might have a daughter or a son that works there. Either way, man, this is important, man. This is crazy. At this point, I'm trying to figure out, are there any corporations that give a damn about the employees or the customers at this point? I don't think they exist anymore, man. Real talk. But that's the end of the video. Hope y'all learned something. Hope this keeps you safe.
Hype me up. Hype me up. Hype me up.